What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Living in Arizona, and today we're going to talk about the best places to live in Arizona. Last week we did best places to live in Phoenix, the suburbs, and we went through that video. This one's going to be up to date for 2020. Where are the places that are on the cusp of emerging and but across the whole state? I am currently in Singapore. As you guys know, I've been traveling Southeast Asia, making videos for my other channel, Island Hopper TV. But because there's this Wuhan virus, coronavirus, whatever you want to call it, I was in Cambodia making that video of Siam Reap and Angkor Wat, those beautiful temples, the largest temple system in the world. But I decided to come over to a safe haven, which I consider to be Singapore. And so while I'm here, I did some research, and I also feel like making this video about Arizona. So let's dive right in here. So what's up, Scott Glick? Thanks to the 4 people who already crushed up the likes. So if you're looking for peace, relaxation in a rural area, I'm going to recommend that you take a look at a place called Prescott. So Prescott is small enough to not make you feel overcrowded or overpopulated, but it's still it's big enough to also have all of the modern amenities, Walmart, Target, stuff like that, and a downtown area where you can go out and have fun. Also, if Prescott's a little bit too booming for you, go over and check out a place called Payson. I actually have a video of Payson on this channel where I show you what it looks like. That's for people who really like the slow and calm pace. Okay, if you're wanting to be right in the middle of it all, and you want good schools, good place to raise your family, the top tier is obviously Scottsdale. Okay, if you can't get Scottsdale, you go to Gilbert. If you can't get Gilbert, you go to Buckeye. Buckeye is considered one of the top areas to live. It's far west Phoenix. The reason I'm not so big on Buckeye is because it's way far west Phoenix. I mean, it's way out there by the Palos Verdes nuclear power plant, but it's considered one of the top places. Now, if you want to move south towards Tucson, whether it be for work because you're going to be working in aeronautics, because that's the big kick down there in Tucson, next to Davis Monthan, they got the Raytheon and all that for aerospace. Just north of Tucson, you have Oro Valley. Oro Valley we have a video on this channel about Oro Valley and North Tucson in the Catalina foothills. It's pretty peaceful over there. I mean, it's close enough to Tucson where you get all the modern amenities, and you're a slingshot ride down the I-10 to Phoenix, about 1.5 to 2 hours away from getting to Sky Harbor Airport, because Tucson's got a pretty small airport, but at least it has an airport, right? I personally think that at some point they're going to build an airport right in between Phoenix and Tucson, somewhere around Casa Grande, because a lot of these big cities, they have these airports that are in the city, Sky Harbor, but I think at some point, as Phoenix and Tucson really begin to grow, they're going to be forced to build like a big, massive airport, and it's probably going to be in between Tucson and Phoenix, although I haven't heard any plans about that. But Casa Grande would probably be where I would assume that would happen. But that would probably incorporate a high-speed rail, a light speed rail, or they already have a light rail in Tucson and Phoenix, but that would be the big thing. Okay, so if you don't mind the cold and you like rural living and you want to be up in the Ponderosas, you're going to Flagstaff. If Flagstaff's not good enough for you, Prescott's not good enough, and Payson's not good enough, then you're going to check out these more affordable areas that are extremely rural, but you're not going to have the modern amenities, and it's going to be pretty far away, 3 to 4 hours away from Phoenix. Even though on the map it doesn't look too far away, it's far away because you got to go up the Mogollon Rim and all these different mountain slopes. Sierra Vista is pretty good. It's close to the border. It's hot. It's close enough to Tucson. What's the reason for Sierra Vista, though? I mean, would I put Sierra Vista? Are you saying because it's beautiful? I don't know if I'd go so far as to say that. Miguel says, "Hi Scott, how's Tucson outskirts countryside like Pima County?" I mean, around Pima County is pretty good. I mean, just in the whole area of Tucson. But if you want, high desert acreage and whatnot outside of Tucson, you're going to look at Catalina foothills. You're going to look at Oro Valley. Okay, if that doesn't work out, another place that you might like is Marana. And if you want to go south, you can go to Sierra Vista. That's always a pretty good idea. Or Sahuarita, Sahuerita, Sahuarita. All right. So Leticia says retiring. Okay. So you're moving to Sierra Vista because you're retiring. Probably a pretty good place. Other places that people like to retire is Yuma. They also like, outside of Phoenix, because Phoenix has a lot of areas. We even did a mobile home park tour for people who are considering moving to Phoenix or Arizona to retire. You have that Casa Grande area where a lot of snowbirds go, and you get this, nice humble abode. It's 1 to 2 bedrooms, like a mobile home park. Pretty good. Light speed rail would be pretty futuristic. Yeah, light speed rail. There you go. That would be pretty futuristic. Maybe that's Hyperloop. I don't know. But yeah, Casa Grande's a good place to check out. I recommend Casa Grande if you want to retire. Although it gets hot in summer, I mean, I don't know if retired life in Arizona in the desert communities is ideal, especially in the summertime, because it gets wicked, wicked hot. 8 months out of the year, it's fine, but June, July, August, September, ouch, can be pretty brutal. Scott Glick, Jeff, bring me back $10 Herschel backpack, no knockoffs. Man, yeah, I go to those fake markets. I was in Cambodia. Cambodia probably had the best fake market. It's called Central Market. It's in Phnom Penh. Bangkok has some pretty good fake markets, but they're all fake, man. It's all fake. Like, these are real. I got these in the United States. China is at a point where it's now making grade A copies. Grade A copy is meaning that they can make the iPhone as good as the iPhone, but it's not actually iPhone. That's kind of what China's been known for, is making. It used to be that, that was made in China, it's grade B, or grade C. Now it's like China is like caught up to where like they can copy everything to like the specs. Like they can make fake Nikes and it's as good as Nike, but not Nike. Because Nike quality for a shoe is pretty good. I don't know if you guys follow the shoes. We take shoes for granted, but there's a lot of interesting things to know about that. All right, Larry Witt says he's moving to Kingman. Yeah, Kingman keeps coming up. I think Kingman for a retiree is okay. For if you're a young person, I don't recommend Kingman because it's just not too popping. Another place that you can add to your list if you're really looking, check out Lake Havasu City. I'm going to recommend Lake Havasu City to people who want to be on the water, don't mind the extreme heat, but like the water, and take a look at it. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a premier destination, but it's a place that you can add to your list of places to consider. And I don't think the job market's going to be too hot over there. It's kind of like Yuma. It's more for retirees maybe, but if you got money and you work on the internet, you might like Lake Havasu City. Great Riff Shire. Dry heat in Arizona. Texas has heat and humidity. I hate the humidity. Yeah, the humidity is wicked, man. There's some wicked humidity down there. Chuck Miller, Kingman, the land of the tin foil hats and chemtrails. Yeah, I know what you're saying, man. There's like people out there who believe all sorts of different things that they hear on the internet lately in there. Judge Dredd 3D. Thanks to everyone who crushed up to like 17 people. Hi, I'm moving to Chandler due to work. Will be working for one of the semiconductor companies. Had to get a quick apartment while I move all my stuff from upstate New York. Chandler is good overall place. Yeah, Chandler is a good overall selection. It's man, it doesn't get better than Chandler if you're moving to Phoenix. There might be a couple areas around Phoenix, which we talked about in the last video: Gilbert, Scottsdale, Peoria, Happy Valley area, Cave Creek, Carefree, New River, even Anthem. But for the most part, this whole northern part, that's Chandler's pretty good. Buckeye keeps making the list. I mean, if you're into schools, just so you know, if you want to know where the best schools are, Gilbert is considered the best school district in 2018 for 2019. But as far as safest cities in Phoenix Metro or in Arizona in general, believe it or not, Peoria, Buckeye, Oro Valley is considered really safe. Oro Valley is. Lake Havasu City even makes the list. Avondale, Nogales, Gilbert, Chandler. Here's a list from the internet. They'll tell you the best schools are in Gilbert and Scottsdale. That's considered like the best areas for schools. A list here that was made up. this is their list for the top places in 2020. Paradise Valley, Gilbert, Scottsdale, Oro Valley, Sahuarita, Chandler, Marana, Thatcher, Peoria, and Prescott, which, if you just tuned into the video, one of the first places I encourage people to check out was Prescott. Notice I haven't really talked about Sedona. I think if you can live in Sedona, if you can afford it, it's good. But the job market in Sedona is pretty weak and the cost of living is really high. So I don't think many people can afford to live in Sedona. But if you want outskirts of Sedona, you're going to check out the place called the Verde Valley, and you're going to go look at a place called Cottonwood and Cornville. So if you get a chance, you go to Sedona, you'll see a sign. It'll say Cornville, Cottonwood. Go check out that area. You can live there. They've got, I don't know if they've got that much infrastructure for jobs, but you can live a modest, humble life. That's pretty good weather in the summer and a little bit of snow flurries in the winter. I mean, it just kind of snows a little bit, but not too bad. You just get a little taste of winter in Cottonwood. Cold enough to, when you wake up in the morning, you're like, it looks like you're smoking because you're billowing, cold air out of your mouth. What are your thoughts on Gold Canyon? Wonder if you are hearing if amenities will come around that area. Yeah, I'm not hearing any sort of massive developments other than like just the freeway just kind of moving that way. I haven't heard of anything like additionally being built around Gold Canyon. Gold Canyon is a good place to be out of it all, but close enough to it all, if that makes sense. And it's in the far east Phoenix at the base of the Superstition Mountains there. Check that area out. The rent is higher in Cottonwood. The rent is also higher in Prescott. So something to consider, yeah. Scott Haitius says, I heard bad things about Marana. Yeah, Marana, I don't understand the big Marana, Kingman, Yuma, those kind of places. I'm kind of like, who told you to go there? I made the video about Casa Grande and Maricopa the other day, and if you were to say, hey Jeff, where should I go, Maricopa or Casa Grande? I would say Maricopa. Casa Grande is just, I would not encourage people to move to Casa Grande. And if you had to move to that area and you wanted to be close to Casa Grande because maybe you have a factory or a job out there that you're working at, go to Maricopa, okay? But people always saying, oh, Casa Grande, I'm kind of like, eh. Casa Grande was supposed to build this big Dreamport village and everyone was excited, but I don't know, the plans might have fallen through. But that was supposed to really be putting Casa Grande on the map, but for some reason it didn't go through. Casa Grande's kind of always been that place where they dream big. Like they had a Casa Grande outlet mall and it already closed down, but I mean, they dream big over there and then it kind of just like, boom, crashes down. What about South Mountain Town? South Mountain Town? You mean Estrella Mountain? Estrella Mountain or Estrella? Is there a town called South? I mean, if you want South Mountain, you're going to go to Ahwatukee Foothills. They wrap around South Mountain, and then North-South Mountain's got Estrella. On the north side of South Mountain, there's some houses out there, but I mean, it's an iffy area down there. That's, down there by Cesar Chavez High School. If you want to go down there, go for it. Check out Estrella though. Estrella's all right. Oh, you mean South Mountain Village? South Mountain Village is nice. It's they just built that freeway that's going to wrap around. I think it's good. I think it's a better area. It's south of the central area, but it's still close enough. It's like, I guess, living in North Phoenix and being near Union Hills and Bell Road, which is kind of like they call it the square. So if you're in North Phoenix, you might see some nice houses in like Happy Valley, but when you get to this place called Bell Road or Union Hills, you'll start like 7th Avenue and Bell Road. Just go down there and you'll see what I'm talking about. But there's a big meth problem down there, but they have an area there probably from Greenway to Bell Road, Union Hills. It's kind of called the square. It's like the square area where thou shalt not want to live. Okay. It's North Phoenix, but you go beyond North Phoenix, you start coming into places like Wildfire Community and Happy Valley and Desert Ridge. And then you go a little bit further, you get towards Scottsdale, or you go the other direction, you come up, up into some nice areas in Happy Valley, and then you fall all the way north to Anthem. Same kind of deal on the south side of Phoenix, where you got like Estrella Village or South Mountain Park or South Mountain Village, and you got that area there, but it's close enough to Tolleson and, you know, some of those areas that thou shalt not try to live. I mean, reason is because it's dangerous. It's like, you know, when I say dangerous, it's just not the safest place. And with the safest place also comes down a good place to raise your family, right? Because also the schools, you know, North Phoenix has some pretty good schools. I mean, but bear in mind, Arizona was ranked number 49 in the nation for schools. But there, we have some good school areas, Scottsdale and Gilbert. So if you really need some good schools, that's where the teachers are at. That's where the good teachers are. That's where the good principals and the unified school districts are established, Gilbert and Scottsdale. Apache Junction is kind of rough, but getting close to Gold Canyon. But could you see getting gentrified? Oh yeah, Apache Junction's going to have to get gentrified. It's going to happen because the Phoenix is moving in that direction, and it's too beautiful out in Apache Junction to not see a change. It's just still kind of like backwoods out there. I mean, it's like late at night, you know, it's like the hills have eyes kind of out there in Apache Junction. You know, there's some places out there. There's some places, you know, just old desert rats just posted up in their little spots. Royal Pilot 116. Which communities are luxury in the Scottsdale area? Not super expensive, but close to Phoenix. Well, I don't know. Scottsdale is pretty expensive. I mean, you're talking over $500,000 for a house. But if you want to be in Scottsdale, you could check around like downtown Scottsdale. They have homes around there that I think are pretty affordable. You also have like the area off of Shea Boulevard going towards Desert Mountain or towards Fountain Hills. Checking that area around about like 120th Street and Shea Boulevard. Just check out around there. I mean, we're talking, you know, reasonably priced Scottsdale. The really expensive places are going to be around like Camelback Mountain and you know, PV, Paradise Valley. But if you go north, there's also some communities like Desert Ridge. I recommend Desert Ridge. There is basically the best high school sports program is called Pinnacle. That's Pinnacle High School. Look it up on the map, Pinnacle High School. It's near Wildfire Community, but Pinnacle High School, if you can get a house in that area, I mean, that's the school that wins like the state championships for baseball, basketball. Like the kid Nico Mannion, he's on University of Arizona's basketball team. He went to Pinnacle. Spencer Rattler, who was the top recruit quarterback out of high school in 2018, who is getting ready to take over at Oklahoma as the starting quarterback, he went to Pinnacle also. Pinnacle wins the state championship. So that's like, I consider that Scottsdale, although you could consider it North Phoenix, but that's like a really great place to live. It's called Pinnacle. If you want to go a little bit further north up Tatum Boulevard, that's basically the area you're looking at. Tatum Boulevard, just north of the 101. It's called Desert Ridge. Check that place out, guys. Scott Glick, DC Ranch, Troon, high-end Scottsdale. Yeah, DC Ranch, high-end, right up there at the base of the McDowell Mountains. Troon, Pinnacle Peak area, really expensive. And then, yeah, but when you're further south, you're okay. I'm coming from cold Illinois, visit family in Ahwatukee, May. I love that area. It's so beautiful. Yeah, I consider Ahwatukee to be like, for lack of a better word, okay, a poor man's Scottsdale. What I mean by that is it's like Ahwatukee's pretty nice, and it's like not as expensive as Scottsdale, but you get the same kind of like atmosphere and the same kind of like, you know, panoramic views of the mountain, South Mountain and stuff like that. But you're also closer to it also. Ahwatukee's a really good place to be. How about South Desert Ridge? Seems cheaper than Desert Ridge, but is still okay. I mean, you're talking what? Okay, so if you go to Desert Ridge area, you have the 101, and you also have this big berm. This big berm, just in case you guys ever see it, there's the canal, you know, the Central Arizona Project, which is how we get our drinking water and our like the water that comes from the Colorado, right? There's a big berm right there. And the reason is because north Scottsdale, there's like these mountains. And they say that during a great flood or a big rain, those mountains could flood Phoenix. So they built this huge dam there. And on that, if you're north of that dam, if you're north of that canal, that's the area we're talking about. What's up, Third Power Prod? Man, I haven't seen none of you guys over on Island Hopper yet. None of you guys are coming over to Island Hopper TV. I've seen a couple of you. I've seen Alyssa. I've seen Robert Vogel. I've seen who else? I've seen a couple of you guys over there. But maybe you guys don't like traveling. That's why you don't come over there. No big deal. Chuck Miller. I've seen Chuck Miller over at Island Hopper TV. But yeah, in case you guys were wondering, I am in Singapore. There's this coronavirus that's going around. And I was in Cambodia and I was like, dude, I got to get out of there and head down to a safe haven. So I picked Singapore, and I'm considering going as far south as Australia. And if I go to Australia, I'll probably end up in Perth. And then from Perth, I'll go Adelaide, down around, although I want to see Darwin, I want to see Cairns. So there's a lot of places in Australia. Australia is huge, man. It's like this big island. It's got more oceanfront property than anywhere on Earth, in my opinion. Well, any country on Earth. I always looked at Australia as like the final frontier. Like, you know how Alaska is like the final frontier, but I'm like, dude, there's only 28 million people who live in Australia, and it's pretty big. Yeah, Michelle, Singapore is a beautiful place. This, like I said, it's my safe haven. Crazy stuff was happening in Cambodia. Nothing crazy was happening in Cambodia. I'm just saying the Wuhan virus, this virus that was breaking out. I was like, dude, I got to get out of here, man. I don't want to be in a situation where I can't get a flight, and I don't want to be stuck in Siam Reap or Phnom Penh, or where I was supposed to go yesterday. It was Sihanoukville. You guys, Sihanoukville is like this Macau 2.0. The Chinese are building up Cambodia's coastline. This place called Sihanoukville, but it's like really in terrible shape, and like all these backpackers hate what's happened to Sihanoukville. But like the roads are dirt. The tuk-tuk drivers, the Cambodians don't like it. What's going on? They've taken these. They're building this a bunch of resorts, just like, but everything's like under construction. It's just terrible. It used to be this peaceful backpacker town, so I was going to go there yesterday, but I was, you know, it's kind of like crazy down there. I was like, with this Wuhan virus, I don't know if I want to be in Sihanoukville, but I was going to go over to this island called Koh Rong, which is a pretty nice island community. They don't even have any roads over there. So that's what it was. Great riffs. No, I'm not retired. Yeah, it is a scary virus, but you know, we'll see how much of this the media is drumming up and how much of it is real. I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out, is how much of it is media just doing what they typically do, because the Chinese New Year tomorrow. Chinese New Year starts tomorrow, and the Chinese are known for traveling. Like in Angkor Wat, I don't know if you guys saw the video on Island Hopper TV about Angkor Wat. It's the largest temple system in the world. I mean, it's UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's on this Angkor Wat is on par with the Taj Mahal, the Great Pyramids of Egypt, the ruins of Chichen Itza, the Sun Pyramids of Teotihuacan. It's pretty good. And yeah, I was there. I mean, I went to the place. It's phenomenal. Like, but I don't think a lot of people really know about Angkor Wat. And so I was there. I was just amazed. It's so scenic, and it's this incredible place, man. Anyone that wants to move far out of the city and thinks to do should know that you'll spend a lot of transportation in Phoenix. So if you can get a fuel efficient or electric car, that would help. Great advice based on Oz. A commenter says electric cars don't save money. Ooh, interesting. Third Power Pod says Angkor Wat is a very sacred place. Yeah, it is a very sacred place. I mean, the Hindu name for Angkor Wat is the highest. It's called the highest of Vishnu. Vishnu is a Hindu god. So yeah, I did a guided tour with a local in that video. He showed me around, gave a lot. It's kind of hard to hear him because his English isn't that great, but he tells you a lot of the things, and it lines, like Angkor Wat on the solstice lines up. This was a 12th century, so they knew in the 12th century, about 365 days a year, 24 hours in a day. They knew about all this in the 12th century. And what first thing I thought was, did they know about this before the Western world? So yes, in the Western world we have the calendar, but it's like they knew about it in the 12th century. So and you know, that's interesting. So if you guys are historical or like archaeological sites, check out Angkor Wat. And there's a video on the channel, Island Hopper TV, which is my other channel. Artie Patel, is there any specific to live in Phoenix that's relatively affordable but still walkable? Tempe. Tempe is probably the most walkable. There's also downtown Phoenix. They have Roosevelt Row. Some people would say Arcadia or Biltmore area, and then other people would say downtown Scottsdale. So there's 4 areas right there. Just write them down: downtown Scottsdale, downtown Phoenix, downtown Tempe, okay, or Biltmore. Outside of that, you're not going to get too much walkability. Anyone who says that Kierland or North Scottsdale is walkable, I'd say no. Phoenix is mostly it's a city for cars. Where's the best place, cost-effective property to rent out? Okay, so if you're looking to rent out, so you want to buy a property to rent it out, that's a good question for my brother, which you guys can ask him. And living in Arizona on our Facebook group, I would probably ask him. But if I was to say that, I mean, with the way the housing market has grown, like I think my house has gained like 10 to 15% since in the last 2 years in value. Like my buddy, he's buying a house in the same neighborhood that I am, out in Santan Valley, out in Queen Creek, which is where I live. And what he's paying for his house is like 15% more than what the house was worth when I bought. So, I mean, we're in a market that just keeps expanding in price. Believe it or not, there's even a housing shortage. Like there's so many people moving to Phoenix, they can't build the houses fast enough. So what that tells me is that there's like this demand. So how long will the demand last? I mean, if you buy right now and then the demand goes away, then you're stuck with this house. It's a rental. And then you're like, oh man, I listened to this guy, Jeff, on YouTube and he gave me bad advice. So I don't know if I really want to do that. But right now at this particular moment, I would say you could probably, if you could get a house in Scottsdale, it seems like that's always a safe play, but that's expensive. People are always trying to live in Scottsdale. Arcadia is probably a good place. Tempe, Chandler, Gilbert, all those are probably pretty good places. But I mean, you wouldn't think it, but I think Queen Creek is actually a pretty good place. Although I don't know that it's that great because there's no freeway. So if like people are looking to just rent, Queen Creek's good to own if you're going to live there. But if you're just looking to rent, why would you want to live in Queen Creek? There's no freeway within like 20 minutes. You got to go 20 minutes to get to a freeway. So that can be a bit of a pain in the butt. But yeah, Gilbert, Chandler, Tempe, probably good places. And then Scottsdale. And if you wanted to go to West Valley, you could probably do pretty good out in Glendale, Peoria, I think are also pretty good. And you're going to get better prices out there. Would you recommend getting a new build in the Phoenix area? And do you have any regrets on getting a new build? Great question, a commenter. The downside that I discovered that I didn't quite think through was how much it was going to cost to take my new build and develop my land or my backyard. So when you get a brand new build, you get a brand new house, all new appliances, squeaky clean, everything. You don't have to burn all the sage. You get rid of all the blah, blah, blah that's in there. I'm just kidding. But, people do that. But the backyard's completely blank canvas. So you got to build that. Well, yeah, sure. You could just do like some rocks and like, some grass and call it a day. But because I like barbecues and I like, jacuzzis, and I like to go outside into my oasis or my backyard oasis, I had to build that. And it cost a lot of money. It cost a lot more money than I thought. And to build a pool is expensive. So if you can get that lumped into your mortgage where you get a house with a pool and all that, and you don't have to pay out of pocket, it's just in your mortgage, you save money on that. So you have to have this extra amount of money to develop your backyard, unless you just want to have the dogs pooping on the dirt for 3 years. Or you just throw some grass seed and see if it grows, if the pigeons don't eat it or the doves don't eat it, right? So that's the way. No, I don't have any regrets about community. Communities are also cool because everyone in your community is brand new and like you. So it's not like when you're moving in, you have these locals that have been there posted up for 10 years. They're trying to, be like, oh, who's the new people in town? When you move into a new community, everybody's new. So everybody just kind of comes together at the same time. That was a perk. Yo, what's up? That's his name. I'm from Flagstaff. I'm paying over $450,000 for my home. Yeah, that's expensive for Flagstaff, but it's pretty nice up there. I mean, you get Ponderosa pines and all that. Basto Z says Mesa has nice parts and crappy parts. That's for damn sure. There are some nice parts of Mesa, which my favorite part that I recommend is the new housing developments, East Mark and Cadence. Sam Maxwell, ranch in Mojave County, sir, please. What about Mojave County? I mean, yeah, you can get some cheap land out in Mojave County. You can build 40 acres for how much? How much for 40 acres in Mojave County? I mean, $50,000. You can get that same deal out in St. John's up there in some of those other counties. Chinle County has got cheap land. But yeah, if you're looking for cheap land, if you just want a big ranch, 40 acres, you can look around Heber Overguard. Write that down. Heber Overguard. Heber Overguard. That's got some cheap land. Just go on Zulio and type in Heber Overguard and see what kind of ranch properties come up. You got Show Low area. You got Snowflake. There's a place called Snowflake. You can get some cheap land. If you want to be close to Sedona, there's a place called Rim Rock that's got cheap land, just like it sounds. Rim Rock. At first, you might think it's Red Rock, but it's Rim Rock. The reason I say Red Rock is because Sedona is Red Rock country, right? Stephen James, I'm looking to start an organic egg farm and need 5 to 10 acre farm. Where do you suggest I look? Well, Heber Overguard. Do chickens do good in the desert? I don't know about that. So Heber Overguard is going to be higher country. It's actually up over the Mogollon Rim, beyond Payson. You can look around Payson. I don't know what your budget is, too. I mean, it's going to depend on your budget. Angela says, I'm from South Oregon. Been told Oro Valley is a bit cooler and lots of biking and hiking. Want a smaller home, but outdoor activities. Angela, you've been given good advice. Go check out Oro Valley when you get there. If that's what you're looking for, you want biking and hiking, whoever told you to go to Oro Valley was right. If you don't want to go to Phoenix, but if you want to go to Phoenix and you want hiking and biking, you would check out like Ahwatukee, okay? Or North Mesa's got some areas around, the Usery Mountain. Scottsdale, if you can afford it. Are you allowed to use your personal drone to fly around? Where? You're asking me about a drone where? In Singapore? No. I'm in Singapore right now. I can't fly my drone. I had to claim it on a customs. Does Rimrock have that Sedona price ticket? No. Rimrock is close to Sedona. Go look around Rimrock. I mean, it's dirt roads. It's one of those places where, there's going to be like broken down old cars on the side of the road. It's on the other side of the freeway. It's just past Montezuma's castle. It's on the right side of the freeway, though. Sedona's to the left, Rimrock's to the right. And it's another one of those places, the hills have eyes. I say that because of the movie, What are your thoughts on Prescott and Jerome? Well, Jerome's a nice place to go visit, I suppose, if you're into ghost towns. Prescott, in the opening part of this video, was one of the places I recommended. How do people walk their dog when it's hot in Phoenix? With water? Yeah, I mean, there's people who took their dogs for a walk and the dog died. So if you take your dog for a walk and he starts panting or she starts panting, dude, stop. Go under a tree, okay? Because I know people who took their dog for a walk, a pit bull. The bully breeds don't breathe properly anyway. So when it's hot, short walks, man. Don't be trying to do no 3-mile walks. And if you do, take water. But yeah, I've known people who took their dog for a walk and the dog died. Sarah says, I want to move to Sedona. Where can someone live in Sedona or around? Okay, check out Oak Creek Canyon, Oak Creek Village. Check out there. If that's out of your price range, then you'd have to move down towards Cornville or Cottonwood. I heard Prescott was voted safest place in Arizona. Says, yo, what's up? It's safe. Yeah, it's safe. I don't know if it's safer than Gilbert, but maybe per capita, Gilbert's more safe. But overall, maybe Prescott's safe. I recommend Prescott if you don't mind a little bit of snow. If you like 4 seasons, right? That's the thing. And the reason I like Prescott is because it's out of the way. I mean, I think Prescott's a place in Arizona that's gonna, at some point, it's gonna have a big spurt because there's just room to grow around the Prescott Valley area. Stephen James, thank you for your expertise. You have no idea how much this Q&A means to us newbies. You're welcome, Stephen. And thank you to the 37 people who crushed up the likes. What's your questions? Ask me some questions and I'll help you guys. We have issues with black widows and scorpions here in Texas. Does Arizona have the same problem? Yes. We have scorpions and black widows. I don't have them at my house because I do pest control and I don't pack rat stuff in the things because that's where black widows like to live, in the pack rat holes and boxes and stuff where it's been sitting for a long time. It's where breakouts of infestations happen, right? Definition of a desert rat. Desert rat is just like a term for someone who lives in Arizona or been there for a while, and they're kind of like, want to say something. It's kind of like a redneck, okay? But I've called, we joke around. We always say us desert rats. It's kind of like us Cajuns. That's kind of like the same kind of deal. It's not offensive. Anyone gets offended by being called a desert rat is just way too thin-skinned and sensitive. It's basically like someone who lives in the desert all their life. Like, I was born and raised in the desert. We always knew that people who lived out there, they walk barefoot in the desert. They get burrs in their feet. They get cactus in their feet, stuff like that. That's a desert rat. They're used to walking on the hot ground and barefoot, and they barbecue in their backyard with mesquite straight off the tree, stuff like that. I'm not saying they eat rattlesnake or anything, but they're just they wear turquoise, stuff like that. Is it true that Phoenix has Illuminati living under the city? What? Never heard of that. I don't even know what that means. What's your thought on Kingman and Bullhead City? Would you recommend visiting those towns? I recommend visiting Bullhead City, sure. Right across the way is Laughlin. You could stay a night or two there if you have to go to Vegas. Kingman is also on the way to Vegas. So yeah, if you're going to Vegas, you go through Bullhead City, make a little bit of a off the beaten path trek into Bullhead City and see what it's all about. It's maybe like an hour out of the way. Kingman is right along the way, so you will go through Kingman when you drive to Vegas. I don't eat rattlesnake. I don't eat any snake, especially with this Wuhan virus supposedly coming from people eating bat soup, or were they eating bat soup and snake soup? That's what caused this virus. It broke out in China. Are the stories about Superstition Mountains true? Yeah. So the reason they're called the Superstition Mountains is because there was a big farming community out there, and there's a lot of folklore, like the Lost Dutchman mine. I don't know if they're true or whatever, but they say there's people who go out there into their hills and they go looking for the Lost Dutchman mine. I mean, the name Superstition Mountains has its own instantly you hear it, you're like, why is it called superstition, right? So I don't know if they're true, but it's kind of like the story, the legend of Billy the Kid. Like, how old was Billy the Kid when he died, right? Like, how much could the dude have done that built this big legend behind the kid, Billy the Kid? Like, he was like 24 when he passed away. So, I mean, how much damage could a dude do in that short period? His name, Billy Bonney, if you want to look him up, Billy Bonney, and you have the legend of the OK Corral with Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday and some of those guys down there in Tombstone. So, I mean, how much of that is true and how much of that is just like drummed up for Hollywood, right? People getting lost in the superstitions. Yeah, I mean, people get lost up in those mountains. I always recommend, if you're going to go hiking, take your phone with you and make sure it's charged. I'm not saying you have to have it on, but put it in your backpack, because if you get lost, you want to at least have some sort of like GPS to say, that way's the town. Because I know people who've gone up into these mountains or up into those mountains and they got lost. Michael says, what are your thoughts on Cave Creek? Well, I grew up in Cave Creek. I grew up right next to Black Mountain near Carefree. And then I went to high school in Cave Creek. So I like Cave Creek. I watched Cave Creek Road we used to go to the parade, the Fiesta Days parade, all the time, from Harold's, Buffalo Chip. I used to work at El Encanto. It's a cool city, man. Check it out. It's a cool town. It's only 10,000 people, beautiful houses around there. It's a great place. I mean, it's a little bit cooler than Phoenix, maybe 5 to 10 degrees. So yeah, check out Cave Creek. What are the best towns? I missed the list at the beginning. Oh man, you're gonna have to watch it over, because I've said a lot for the last 40 minutes, but here, check out Prescott. Check out, if you want to live in Tucson, Oro Valley, Gilbert. Buckeye's considered up and coming, good place to live. Scottsdale, obviously, because of the school district and all that, if you can afford it. Cottonwood's up and coming, good area. Payson is a good area to explore. So Catalina Foothills, right next to Oro Valley, really good. I don't really consider Flagstaff on the list, and that's basically it. Do you think Tucson will ever get big time New York? No, I don't. Phoenix maybe, and Phoenix and Tucson might meet up, but even then, we're talking about a population of 12 million tops. What are your thoughts on living in Carefree or Anthem? Well, if you are already looking at Carefree and Anthem, throw into the mix Cave Creek and New River. There you go. So when you're up there in North Phoenix, far North Phoenix, and you're looking around, Carefree, Anthem, Cave Creek, and New River. Those are 4 municipalities that you'll want to visit and explore in that same day. Litchfield Park on the other side of the 303, way out there in the White Tanks, man. You're trying to be at the base of the White Tank Mountains. That's what you're trying to do. Yo, what's up? Says Flagstaff is a cool place to live. The only thing against Flagstaff is it's brutal cold and too much snow. It's a pain in the butt to deal with. There you go. I mean, Flagstaff in the summer is the Arizona getaway. People go to Flagstaff to get out of the heat. And they go up to San Francisco Peak. They go camping out there all around Flagstaff, and it's pretty nice. And they go up to the Grand Canyon. But like you said, in the winter, there's a university up there called Northern Arizona University. Go check it out if you guys are wanting to go to school. Anyways, guys, thanks to everyone who crushed up the likes. Subscribe to me on Island Hopper TV if you like to travel. Like I said, I put that video out on Angkor Wat in Cambodia. I'm currently in Singapore right now. I look forward to seeing some of you guys over there. Leave some comments. Let me know so I can see if I recognize any of you guys from Arizona. And we'll see you guys next time.